Woof.
But our first dev blog tonight. Okay, so this is from yesterday, June 27th, and this is balance changes to balance changes to the hybrid battleships and to Tier 5 British cruiser Hawkins. That's kind of out of nowhere. Okay. Let's look and see what we got. So they are applying balance changes to American hybrid battleships, Nebraska, Delaware, and Louisiana, as well as to British cruiser Hawkins. So on the battleships, is this a nerf? Increase the size of the dive bomber's aiming ellipse. As a result, the dive bombers will on average deal less damage to destroyers. I've been on the receiving end of Louisiana players, 2 of them. And when it may not have even both been Louisiana's, it may have been Louisiana, Delaware in one game. And they wore my ass out because the ellipse, especially on Louisiana, is so damn small. If they know how to lead right, they're just going to crush destroyers. So that gives us DD mains a little more hope there. So that's probably a welcome change. I don't recall Nebraska and Delaware from my slight bit playing them that the ellipses were too stupidly small, but so I would imagine, or I would predict that the biggest nerf will go to Louisiana. I don't think Delaware and Nebraska need as big of a nerf. And to be quite honest, in my opinion, overall, I don't think those ships are overpowered. And the reason why is because so many players, all of the, what I'll say, the average to below average players, are so focused on the planes that they're not playing the ship to its potential. It's the good players that understand how to play the thing better that make it really dangerous and make them a little too powerful in certain circumstances. So this is what's getting nerfed so that the bombs aren't as strong. But other than that, you still got your guns, you still got everything else. I don't think it's going to cripple these ships in any way. I think it's in good shape, and I can't complain about that. Especially, as a matter of fact, if they would have just said we're nerfing the ellipse on Louisiana and not the other 2, I probably wouldn't have cried too hard about that. So we'll see how much they nerf them. They're not really saying. So it'll be interesting to see the amount of nerf that each of those 3 ships gets on the ellipse. It does say the aiming ellipse of Louisiana's dive bombers will become similar to Nebraska's and Delaware's. I mean, I would expect Nebraska's to be the worst. Delaware's maybe a little better, and Louisiana a little better. That's what you would expect going up in the tiers. Or maybe Louisiana gets an extra plane or something like that, so you get an extra couple bombs, something along those lines. Okay. Next is the Tier 5 British cruiser Hawkins. Shell ballistics have been changed. The firing arcs will now be flatter. AP shell pin increased. Okay, so somebody decided that the shells were too floaty and the AP wasn't performing well. So a buff. So if you're a low tier player and you're looking to go through this line, well, your Hawkins just got improved. So go play it and have fun. So just the fast recap to this one is decent buff to the Hawkins and some type of nerf to the Nebraska, Delaware, and Louisiana, particularly on the ellipse size of their bomb aiming. Now, how big or bad that nerf is going to be, or whether, I don't know if you can call it a major nerf. I think it's small to moderate at best. So that's kind of where we're at. So buff Hawkins and nerf the hybrids. And I suspect that they're what went on or has gone on in clan battles, and the analysis of that data and how well they performed against DDs is what precipitated, I'm going to use a big word there, but what precipitated these nerfs to these hybrid battleships. So, okay. On to the next DevBlog. There's a second one and a third one. So the second DevBlog, this was released today, I believe. And I'm completely cold on these. I have not seen, I had heard something somewhere. I'd heard somebody say something or seen a post somebody made on Twitter or something other about the nerf. But on the first one, that's about all I knew, is I heard they nerfed the hybrids. But let's see what's happening here. Changes to LÜSHUN. Starting with 12.6 Pope test, LÜSHUN will be redesigned. So this is the Tier 10 Pan-Asian DD that, as I recall, was a little like a Neustrashimi, like a Tier 10 version of a Neustrashimi, but it lacked the heel and such. So let's see what they're doing this. It looks like they're just saying, no, we don't like it. We're completely redesigning it. So as I understand, you only have 4 barrels on this thing. I guess 2 twin guns, I think. But they're reducing the reload time from 3.4 to 1.7. So they're doubling the DPM. Next, they are reducing the HE damage and the HE fire chance. So you're getting what? About a 17% nerf on the shell damage and about a 37-38% nerf on the fire chance. So that's to compensate for the extra DPM somewhat, because you're getting double the DPM. The detectability range reduced from 7.2 to 6.9. What does that give you? That's pretty good, isn't it? Yeah, that's down to like 5.6. So that's like down to Neustrashimi levels of concealment. Holy crap. All right, what else? What else do we have? Bear with me one second. Okay. So that's your detectability that was reduced. Detectability range by air and depths reduced. Okay, that's kind of accordingly. Get it. Smoke generator consumable removed. Repair party consumable replaced with heavy repair teams. So you want to make this a gunboat, but you're taking away the smoke generator. These changes will emphasize LÜSHUN as a gun-focused ship. Her main role in the battle will be to directly confront enemy DDs with her quick-firing gun. Good concealment allows her to ambush DDs by finding them with the help of Hydro. Oh, that's right, she has Hydro, which has an increased range. Afterwards, the ship can retreat back to recover HP using the heavy repair team's consumable and be ready for another engagement. So am I to assume heavy repair teams is like a super heal? So are they going to give it a Neustrashimi heal? I don't know. But that's interesting. They say you can recover HP, so very good. However, her low maneuverability and lack of a smoke generator makes it difficult to disengage from heavy enemy fire easily, so it's recommended to find a favorable position on the battlefield. Okay. Interesting. Also, so that's the LÜSHUN, but also it says New Hampshire and analog of Vermont added for future unique upgrade testing has been renamed to Utah. So Utah will be used as a testing ground for Vermont unique upgrades. So there you go. There you have it. So, yeah, just to quickly recap then, there's going to be some testing on a unique upgrade for Vermont, basically. And then the other thing is LÜSHUN is completely being redone. So you're getting the DPM gun boost, concealment improvement, but they're taking away the smoke generator and giving you a what they're calling heavy repair teams. So I'm guessing that is a kind of like a super heal, a zombie heal. So very interesting. We'll see how that works. Next, we have a third DevBlog. Changes to asymmetric battles. Aha, update 12.5. See what changes will be applied to asymmetric battles. So this was the second DevBlog that came out today, June 28th. And so they're changing asymmetric battles. After analyzing the performance of asymmetric battles during its first week on the live server, we've observed that the credits and XP earnings for battleships are higher than expected. In order to address the situation, we will apply the following changes to asymmetric battles and add special combat missions for all classes except battleships. Apparently they want boats other than battleships playing the game. Base credits earnings reduced by 25%. Base XP earnings reduced by 15%. So they're nerfing the credit earning from everybody, not just from battleships. Right? The way it looks like.
No, they're boosting the others to encourage people to play them, is how I read it.
Yeah. Because they're saying base credit earnings reduced by, so they're adding special combat missions. So yeah, what are those special combat missions going to be? They're going to give you something. I don't know what. We'll have to see what it is because they're not saying.
Yeah, 40 and 50% bonuses to credits.
There you go.
All types of XP.
Aha. Oh, because we haven't looked in the game.
Yeah, because we don't
realize. Oh, we know what?
Totally not balanced at all.
Let's look in the game because that'll show us. Because if I look in the dang it, I meant to look in the combat missions. Let's do that again.
I think that
does it tell us here? Does it tell us yet? Win a battle. Nothing. Earn base XP. No, there's nothing here to tell us yet. So yeah, we don't see it yet. But yeah, sounds like they are definitely
it'll probably be next Wednesday they'll roll it out.
Now, but whenever they say they're reducing the base credit earnings by 25 and XP by 15, doesn't that include everything? And that's for all the ships, but then the combat missions for the ships other than battleships will give them the bonus to credits and XP. Okay, I get it now. I see what's going because I didn't focus on that last sentence yet. So that makes much more sense. So they're saying everybody gets a 25 and 15% nerf to credits and XP, but we're going to give you more than that back on everything except battleships. So if you want to play battleships, you get nerfed. If you play anything else, you get a buff.
Yeah. Having 12 against 5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Math is hard.
Why they didn't think, people won't take battleships because, they're tanky. Why would they take those?
Yeah, exactly.
And they have better firepower.
You mean they won't be taking Schlieffens and everything with the most ridiculous secondaries they can muster? Exactly. So they said, while we understand that battleships may have high performance both economically and in terms of gameplay, Their current high popularity causes an increase to the average time spent in the queue. Therefore, we'd like to increase the other ships types popularity as well. I can get that. But they should have figured that out before they ever released the thing. I know this sounds interesting, but it sounds like the people that are releasing some of these things, that it's people that are more like, that are not like technical in the way, or not technical or methodical in a way they go about releasing and checking and testing things. It's kind of like, you know, you don't put an artist in charge of engineering, and you don't put an engineer in charge of artisans. I mean, because, you know, that's not to say that there aren't engineers that are great artists. It's not to say this not happens, but in general, you know, it's that type. I mean, you know, if you're artistic, you have other thought processes that don't involve a whole lot of technical planning. It tends to be more of a free thing. But, you know, when you're an engineer, you tend to be more regimented and analytical, and, you know, you try and cover all your bases and say, well, do this. If we release this, then we need to check this and test that, see how these things react together to make sure we don't screw up 3 things by releasing one. You know, or kind of like if you anybody that does code programming knows it's easy to, oh, well, I'm going to make this easy little improvement in the code, and then you realize, oh crap, it screwed up 4 other things. So it's that kind of thing, and it just seems like they have a lack of what I would call technical project management, or technical, what we would call it in certain types of program type management is release gates. There has to be a gate you can go for before you can get through a phase in development and then up to release, and that gate is kind of like where certain things have to happen, where everybody agrees that yes, we're on the right track, and we're meeting the goals we've set forth, and we're not screwing up multiple things by trying to improve or release this other. So yeah. Anyway, there you go. That's all the dev blogs. So we're done with those. But unlike usually when I end this by saying let's go play warships, well, we're done playing warships. So now it's just time to end the stream. So we'll just say good night and start the process to shut down here. Thank you so much for watching the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you want to see notifications of future videos, just ring the bell. Until next time, Tater Dawg says, woof.